Hello folks, how you doing? Well, I hope everyone's staying healthy, staying safe. I am coming to you from Shawshank, formerly known as the state of California. We are in lockdown, statewide, and which means my work hours have been cut, so and can't really go outside much. I go out for an occasional jog, trip to the market, trip to the gas station, that sort of thing. But otherwise, it's a lot of time spent at home. And us VCers, we just see it as an opportunity to dive crazy into our collection since we're not going to work as much. And that's definitely my situation. So, been finding myself having lots of free time on my hands to listen to vinyl, watch movies, get some exercise in. So anyway, I'm going to show you some records I've had during my lockdown time. I'm calling them my lockdown jams. Anyway, some records that, now that I got all this free time in my hands, some records that I've neglected and haven't spun in a long time. So here we go. Let's give this a shot, shall we? We're going to start with Dream Theater. Distance Over Time is their current album. When I first bought this last year, I was so excited to bring this home. There we go. And I thought it was a great record. And then a few months later, this time last year, I saw them in concert in San Francisco, and that was like one of the best shows I've seen for last year, 2019. One of the best concerts I went to. This is a really good album. Really good album. Kind of reminds me of their earlier days, like Images and Words and Awake. Kind of takes me back to that kind of time of Dream Theater. In a way. Good energy on this record. You could tell they had fun making this. I always love this back cover, all the skulls. Creepy but cool. And my favorite songs on here, the big song on here to me is Pale Blue Dot. That is just an ass-kicking of a song. It's that progressive metal sound that sounds great. Barstool Warrior is another favorite song on here, as well as, Untethered Angel, Fall Into the Light. Some good songs on this album. They played them really good live when I did see them. And this is just such a good album to spin. So there we go. Now we're going to get some older ones. Chicago Transit Authority. Can't really see that, so bam, there it is right there. Really great album from Chicago. This one I want to open up. I have not heard this record in ages, and it was good to blow the dust off of it and throw it on the turntable. Side 1 is just a classic. All the classics are on side 1. But the whole album is just one big jam. It sounds fucking great, and honestly, I forgot how great an album this is. So in my downtime, I was really happy to pull this one out again and blast it on the turntable and blast out the speakers. This was a lot of fun to listen to. I just sometimes forget. I know they're a great band, Chicago, but when you really dive deep into these earlier records of theirs, God, they were fantastic. They were just absolutely fantastic. And I just dig this entire record, especially the guitar playing on this record. Oh my God, some good guitar work on this album. Really good. I'm going to go and just dig into my other older Chicago records. But this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Speaking of an old record that's a lot of fun is Steely Dan. His greatest hits. I only have 2 Steely Dan albums. This one and Asia. After spinning the greatest hits here, I come to the realization, why am I ignoring Steely Dan? Because fuck, this record sounds good. I really threw this record on the turntable because I was in the mood to hear the song Peg and what the hell's that? Could Do It Again. But damn near everything on here sounds fucking amazing. Great album. I love best of compilations myself because you can hear pretty much the whole catalog on 2 records. So it's really great. I know a lot of people prefer to listen to the full albums, and so do I, but I don't know. I get a blast out of listening to compilations, best of compilations, or to have everything in one one 2 record set is pretty cool. So, and this record was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Now, of course, a lot of these songs I hear on classic rock radio pretty much every day. But, there's something about taking the record out of your collection and spinning it. Even though it's a song that's just overplayed on radio, it still sounds cool coming out of your collection. I don't know what it is. It's like listening to Stairway to Heaven. Like, when it comes on the radio, I usually change the channel, but I happen to throw my copy on the turntable and listen to Stairway to Heaven. Suddenly that song sounds amazing. So, it's kind of same thing here. These songs are fucking awesome. Awesome. It even inspired me to look up some of their performance videos on YouTube, Steely Dan, because I know they're a good band, but I forgot about them for a while, and it's cool to rediscover them this way. Here's a record I absolutely do love, and it feels good to finally be listening to it again. Is Promised Land from Queensryche. But during the 80s, becoming a drummer, I was a huge Queensryche fan because I love the drummer in Queensryche. Scott Rockenfield, the original. He's not in the band anymore, sadly. He left. But I wish he was still in the band because, God, that guy was one of the reasons why I really was excited about playing the drums, to listen to him with Queensryche. And I like him on this album, too. This is an underrated Queensryche album because everybody likes Mind Crime and Rage for Order and Empire, and even I gotta admit, when this album first came out, I was not a big fan of it, but it did grow on me after a while, and then I started to appreciate it for what it was. I think because I wanted another album like Mind Crime or another album like Empire. This is something completely different, and I really wasn't ready for that, and didn't like it when I first bought it, but as like I said, the years go on, these songs start to grow on you, and suddenly you can't get them out of your mind, like Damaged and Out of Mind. Bridge, I loved when I first heard it. I think that's a great song, Bridge. My Global Mind's probably my favorite song on this album. My Global Mind is such a killer Queensryche track, and One More Time, both great songs back to back. Ends really softly with the song Someone Else, was just basically a song of piano and vocals. But it's a nice, quiet, beautiful way to end the record. And this is a Back on Black reissue of this album on clear vinyl. I do love the songs on it, however the mix on this is real quiet. I really have to crank it pretty loud just to get some volume out of this. I'm not too crazy about the mix on this. Like I said, you got to turn it up to even kind of feel something out of it. But still a good album. Still a good album. Glad it's in my collection. And I'm an 80s kid, so eventually you're going to see an 80s record on here. And why not Hall & Oates, right? Rock and Soul Part 1, another best of compilation. I remember this came out when I was 14, and this was a big album when it came out. I remember all the record stores had the big Hall & Oates display with these albums on it, and some of their albums from the past, set up with it as well. So I remember seeing those big record displays in the stores when this came out. People made a big deal about this album when it was first released. Came with a poster too. I remember that. I don't think this one has the poster. I love Hall & Oates. I was planning to see him live in June of this year with a friend of mine. But now that what's happened has occurred, most likely that show is canceled. They say postponed, but it's canceled. So, not going to be able to see Hall & Oates this year, which is a bummer. I missed them the last time they came around here. And I remember they were doing a show with Tears for Fears. That was the one I should have went to because I love both those bands, and like an idiot, I missed it. Had a lot of fun listening to this. I sing along to every one of these songs on here. But still my favorite is One on One. I absolutely love that song. As my phone's making too much noise. I love One on One. It's a cool ballad. It sounds great. I love the vocals on it. It's a great song. It's just a timeless classic. But all these songs on here or timeless classics, even the new ones, which was Adult Education and Say It Isn't So was the other new song on here. Those are great songs too, so really glad I pulled that one out. I love Hall & Oates, but I'm an A's kid. Okay, two from Stevie Wonder. He got a lot of listens in my downtime. I really dove into this one, Intervisions. This is his masterpiece. To me personally. People would argue other records are his masterpiece, but especially Songs in the Key of Life. But I love this album. It just has everything I love. Living for the City, Higher Ground, Jesus Children of America, He's Mr. Know-It-All. Those songs make the album for me. Absolutely love this record. This was one of the first records I got when I joined the VC and was serious about getting a vinyl collection going. I had gotten this like the first month or two I joined the VC, so that's how long back this record goes with me. Well, it goes even further than that, but this copy personally, that's when I first got this. It was one of those, okay, I'm going to start a vinyl collection, I'm serious about this, and this was one of the records I first went after. And I was lucky to find a really good copy of it. This is a used copy, but it is really good condition. So it's been in my collection for like 6-7 years, probably longer. And it's a great copy of this album. I love this copy. I'm sure there's a there's a MoFi or edition of it, or some kind of remastered reissue, whatever. But I'm sticking with this because I love this copy, as well as this copy, Original Musicquarium #1. Again, another kind of greatest of compilation that I just seem to love a lot. I really do. When I play this collection, it's a 2-record set of some of his best songs that he's ever written. Can't talk. In the 70s and early 80s music of Stevie Wonder. Every time I spin this collection, it's like dancing in the music room. I mean, when I spun this a couple of nights ago, I think I was kind of worried about my finances. So my hours got cut really bad. I'm thinking, how am I going to cover bills? Like I'm kind of panicking, like everybody else is panicking, and this really soothed my nerves. This really put me in a nice place. At least while the record was spinning, it did, and it kind of got me out of me stressing out a little bit, and that's what I love about this album and Stevie Wonder's music in general. It just makes you feel good. I can go on with what songs I think is the best, but as a whole, his whole catalog just makes me feel really, really good, and it really did its magic on me a few nights ago. I listened to this music and this record set at the right time. I was really feeling kind of down, or really nervous, or anxiety was starting to kick in, and this really calmed me down. So real glad I have these 2 records in my collection, because they really helped me when I needed them the most. So some awesome albums from Mr. Stevie Wonder, as well as this one too. I don't think it ever gets talked about, and I haven't listened to this album in a long time. It's from Dire Straits, and it's Love Over Gold. I even like the cover. Nice cover. I like the colors on it. You know, the blue against the black background. It's just, it looks great to me. I love the way this record sounds. I mean, it kind of, not every song, but most of the album sounds kind of dark with a lot of space. So notes can ring out for a nice long period of time. Vocals are just nice and relaxed and smooth, and gets kind of bluesy in a way, and the way Dire Straits can get bluesy. It's a real good album to listen to. I love the song Private Investigation. It's probably my favorite song on this record, besides the very first song, which is Telegraph Road, which is a real long song, but it builds in dynamics and sounds great. I haven't spun this record in years, and on a whim I decided to take it out. As you can see in what I'm showing, I've been listening to records I have not listened to in a long, long time, and this one, this one also helped me through through the same thing Stevie Wonder helped me with. You know, just worried about how are things going to look in the next month or two. When I start overthinking things, this really helps put me at ease. And this record did a great job of putting me at ease. And most likely I'll be spinning it again in the next couple of days. But oh, such a good album. I don't think as far as Dire Straits records, I don't think anyone ranks this one very highly. But it's my favorite of theirs. It's the one I like to listen to the most. It just soothes me. I love it. So. Love Over Gold actually is a good record. Alright, this is kind of a new record. This record's about a year old. It's Howard Jones' Transform. This is another... I bought this shortly after seeing him live last year. July 3rd of 2019 is when I saw him in concert in Sacramento. Little club in Sacramento. It was a really cool, intimate show. And the music he played from this is fantastic. This really is a good album. I notice when these 80s artists put out modern records, they don't do very well because people just want to hear the hits and they don't care about anything new from them. And the new music doesn't sound that exciting to people anyway. This really is a good record. If he just played this whole album in its entirety and none of his old stuff, I still would have been happy because I really dig the music on Transform. The title track, Transform, sounds great. The first single that came off of this album, The One to Love You, really sounds fantastic. It's a good album from start to finish, and it does have that 80s synth pop sound that he did on his first two records. It's a throwback to that style, but it does sound like a modern record, and he still has something to say. He still has good music to write. You know, he's not a has-been or anything like that. I mean, this was good stuff. This was really good stuff. All right. Oh, there's one more I want to show you, and I should have took it out. I forgot all about it. Sorry, folks. Bear with me here as I'm digging for it because I can't find it anywhere. That's not it. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Sorry about that. Should have had this ready. This album right here. This is The Raven That Refused to Sing from Steven Wilson. I was spinning this a couple nights ago. Normally when I take this record out, I just listen to the last track, which is The Raven That Refused to Sing, because that's one of my favorite Steven Wilson tracks of all time as a solo artist, because it's such a good song. A few nights ago, I decided, you know, I never listened to the entire record. It's a 2-record set, and I never listened to the whole thing, so I thought I'm going to start it from the very beginning song and all the way to my favorite song, which is the last track. I had such a good time with this album. Really good time. And I think it's been ages since I spun the whole thing. Because with Steven Wilson, because he's an artist that changes from record to record, whatever his current record is the one I just can't stop listening to. That's how it is with Steven Wilson's music, with me anyway. So it's very rare that I take these long, in-depth listens. And I love the artwork on this inner sleeve here. Doesn't that look awesome? Spooky as hell, but it looks awesome. Can't really say much about that one, but this looks cool. Look at that. I even posted a picture of this online. The one song that really hooked me was Drive Home. I have not listened to that song in a long time. And Holy Drinker. Those two songs really hooked me when I listened to them a few nights ago. Like I said, it's been a while since I spun this album in its entirety. And, yeah, it just... This album had me hypnotized. It took me to another place. I mean, a lot of the lyrics are based on ghost stories, more or less. And so the music could be kind of, not creepy or scary or anything, but it could be kind of dark. But he seems to bring out the beauty even in dark music. So, and that's kind of the impression I get from this record, even though it's not the most happiest of songs. The misery can be actually quite beautiful. So And especially with the song Holy Drink. It's a great song. This is a great album. Before this Corona nonsense is over, I'll probably spin this whole thing again because I had such a great time with it. It makes being on lockdown an enjoyable experience. So there we go. Steven Wilson, The Raven That Refuses to Sing. This has been out for a long time, probably a 5-year-old record or so. If you don't have it in your collection, pick it up. It reminds me of like 70s prog rock, this album. I'm a big 70s prog rock fan, and this definitely is a throwback to that sound, so I really love this album. Alright, I'm going to end on a new album. It's something I just got a couple days ago, so a new record. How about that? Since I'm showing nothing but old, but it's an old band. Old band with a new record. If you've been watching my videos lately, you notice I've been on an ABBA kick, and now lately my videos aren't completely, I show at least one ABBA album, and this is a new one that came out, and it's a live record. It is ABBA Live at Wembley Arena. It is the entire show that they did back in 1979 at Wembley Arena on 3 records. So there's a 3-record set of their entire concert. And it sounds really good. This was done at Half Speed Mastering, Abbey Road Studios. It doesn't play in 45 speed or anything. It plays 33 1/3, but it sounds really good. I have the CD of this, and it sounds better than the CD, way better than the CD. So really cool. I'll show you what. This is the sleeves that it comes in. They all look like this. All 3 sleeves look like this, and track listing over here. So give you an idea what this looks like. 3-record set, they all look like that. But it did come with this little small book of live pictures, photography. So pretty cool to have. Pretty cool to have. Like I said, ABBA actually was a really good live band. And the girls, the 2 vocalists, the girls, they really sound great live. I mean, it's not just studio trickery. They can bring it live, too. And if anything, they might bring it better live than they do in the studio. If that's even possible. But it is with this band, and my phone won't shut up. This sounds amazing. This sounds really good. I've been spinning this a lot lately. I just got it like a week ago. Came out on the 13th of March. So I've only had it this over a week, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm trying to think what song really stands out live on here. Shit, they all do. But, you know, Name of the Game medleys into the song Eagle, which they do really good, and Eagle has a nice, long, extended guitar solo at the end of it. SOS sounds great on here. The live version of SOS is really good, as well as Fernando. This whole thing is good. The whole thing. ABBA sounded so good live. I can't get over it. And, you know, I thought, you would think, you know, because they sound so perfect in the studio, you think, well, they can't bring it live because, you know, you listen to all the layers of harmonies, vocal harmonies and instruments. It's like it's going to sound kind of empty live, like it's missing something, and not at all. It sounds great live. I was amazed at how good they are. So I was like, wow, they can bring it live. I mean, I think at the time they were touring, I was still in grade school. I wish I was old enough to see this show. I would have had the time of my life, but unfortunately, I was just a little boy. So anyway, missed out on a live experience of ABBA, but oh man, like, at least I got in this 3-record set. Well, that's gonna do it. That's how I've been in lockdown. Those are the sounds during my lockdown period. Maybe I'll do another one in a week or so because I got a lot of time on my hands these days. Anyway, I hope everybody is staying safe and staying healthy. And let's, as always, have a conversation in the comments because I miss talking to you guys. Anyway, stay safe and stay healthy. See you at the next one, folks.